재밌는 세금 재밌는 카메라 보내줘. I saw it.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We right now try to resume our second section. Okay, the next one will be APNIC activity plan for 2024. Paul will deliver the activity plan for 2024. Let's invite Paul to give it a talk.
Hi, everyone, and thank you. This session is about the activity plan, but it's also in the context of the new strategic plan. So you'll hear about both at the same time. And I will be introducing the topic and then handing on to the new senior directors who are going to be taking each of these sections representing their responsibilities. Now, you've seen this chart before. I think it's an illustration of the cyclical nature of APNIC's planning process, where the community is the first part, and it's the community's input to the APNIC EC and Secretariat that determines what we do. That happens through a number of different ways, through all sorts of different input mechanisms, and some of them I mentioned this morning, in fact, that we collate and we report on various different ways in which feedback can be obtained from community. But there's also the formal mechanism of the APNIC survey. So every 2 years, the survey is conducted. It's being launched. It's started already. It's being launched. It has been launched this week. So we're into the next survey cycle, and that will bring a lot of further input later in the year into APNIC's planning processes for the future. But collectively, we through those different channels, we take all of the inputs. We create for a 4-year strategy. We've come to the end of the last one. We've launched the next one, and then also from that strategy and from the regular input, more planning and budgeting goes on an annual basis, and then that's all reported back to the community from the APNIC Secretariat through all sorts of different mechanisms which you see here. So we have the new plan. It's available online. It was developed as a cooperative effort amongst the EC, the senior, and in fact all of the APNIC staff over about 6 months last year, discussed at length in extended planning meetings, and I hope it really does represent a very good sort of synthesis of what APNIC has been doing and what APNIC should be continuing to do, and also guided very much by what the Secretariat and the EC hears from you. So 24 to 27 strategic plan is available now, and the activity plan and budget at that URL. So it's a different diagram. We've dropped the Grecian columns, and we've got this this design which illustrates a clearer, we hope, a clearer and more meaningful representation of what APNIC really does. So we've always had two major components: the registry part, the registry services, the services to our members, which support their access to and use of registry services, and then development. And these things both go back to the original purpose of APNIC, to the original bylaws, the fact that APNIC was founded in the very first place in order to assist internet development in the region. And that's carried through, and it has always been well supported by members in terms of training, in terms of conferences, in terms of other development activities that are addressed in the survey. So again, if you've got opinions about this on either side, the registry side or the development side, then please come into the survey. Be ready to give your input when the survey itself is launched. So those two things, registry and development, we call them value streams. It's how APNIC delivers value to the membership and community. And they're supported, the value streams are supported by enablers. And so we have capabilities of the organization which are fairly predictable capacities of the organization in terms of management and staffing, facilities and all of that. But we also regard engagement as an enabler, and that's the two-way exchange, the close interaction between APNIC and the community, both directions, covering both registry and development, and in many cases kind of bringing those things together in a meaningful way. And so engagement is an enabler, but it's a very special enabler for APNIC in terms of what APNIC needs to do. And I think we at APNIC heard that message very, very clearly over the last few years, that engagement between APNIC and the community is really a critical part of what APNIC can do and needs to do for its success. So those strategic pillars are described here. Registry is to allocate and register internet number resources in the region. Development is to assist in the sustainable development and growth of the internet in the region. Engagement is to encourage, to support diverse community cooperation in building an open and stable internet. The open and stable internet being part of the APNIC vision, the reason for our existence. And capability is to, as I said, to provide that comprehensive organizational support to increase APNIC Secretariat value to the community. And I've always said about this capability part that it's not an afterthought. It's a really critical thing to APNIC's legitimacy and trust, because it includes our proper management and our responsible management, but it includes our governance and the transparency of the organization. The fact that we need to be seen to be, and we need to demonstrate that we're doing this job really to very high standards, hence ISO quality assurance, just as a for instance, which perhaps other companies of the same size might not undertake quite as much sort of diligent sort of assurance and auditing and all of that. So, capability really is part of legitimacy and trust. Okay. Now we have defined what we call the most important goals for the 4-year period, which are grouped under each of these pillars, the 2 value streams and the 2 enablers. And they're listed here, and we'll go through these in detail. But the thing about these goals is that we expect them to exist through the entire period. They might not all get the same level of attention at all times, but they really are the things that we're going to be focused on, as we expect to be focused on quite consistently through the 4 years, and to be delivering some real achievements by the end of the period. And as I say, we'll go into those in further detail. I just want to show you now, before we go into these details, how it is still unified in budgeting. And so our budgeting is able to be reported to you according to the 4 strategic pillars. PY is person years, and we have for the 2024 budget, when all of this has been put together, analysed, and developed into a plan, we've got a full person year budget of 120. That's split up according to percentages to different components. So you'll see registry is generally on the top of all of these lists. So 44% of the people at APNIC are dedicated to registry products and services, and that includes now the service to members as well. We used to split registry and membership in the previous plan, but they're now together and they form the biggest part of what APNIC does, of course. The next is development. Again, we split the people and the operational and capital expenses according to the proportions for each of these pillars, and then engagement, of course, and capability, leading to figures which I hope balance very well with what you heard before in the Treasurer's report. We also can break things further down. So under each of the pillars, we've got what we call work streams. So this is considerably simpler than the last 4-year plan. We've got fewer work streams, we've got fewer pillars. We really wanted to consolidate these things. Registry has only got the 2 pillars, which are for services and products and infrastructure. Development, much of what the development pillar does is the academy, but we also have the community support and the labs under development. Engagement is the lion's share of that. Comes in the form of community participation, which is actually supporting community engagement in not just in APNIC the organisation, but in the community itself and in the collective community that we build. And then under capability, we've got business systems, we've got governance being very important, finance and employee experience, HR, and all of everything that goes around that. So that, I hope, is a really meaningful way to see the budget. It's also how you'll see the activity, the annual report and the financial reports in future against this kind of structure and against that budget. Now, coming back to a question asked by Anupam before, we do have a substantial amount of APNIC activity that's integrated within APNIC, that's undertaken by APNIC, but which is funded by the foundation and identified specifically. So we're managing the contributions that the foundation makes to increasing our training and activity, and academy activities, to MRoot, to the HoneyNet, to research and analysis. So in total, that's 14 staff and $4 million of OPEX, and that's only a relatively small part of what the foundation does, because the foundation has got other activities which don't actually come under APNIC, or which APNIC is not actually implementing. They're things that we all like, but they get undertaken separately. Okay, now I'm going to stop talking now in a minute and hand on to the newly designated senior directors under the new structure. And a feature of the new structure, which is quite sensible, I feel, is that each of the strategic pillars has got a single senior director in charge of it. That's different. In the last structure, we actually had a collective of senior staff kind of collectively responsible for the pillars. But I think we all decided that maybe this is a better way to do it for at least the next period, to give each pillar to one of the senior directors. I think you know them by now. Carla for registry, Chihu for development, Pablo for engagement, and Tony for operations. So I'm going to hand over to Carla firstly, who'll take us through a bit more detail about the MIGs and the activities under the registry value stream, the registry pillar, and then the others will follow. So over to you, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to be here, and I do feel a lot of responsibility standing in front of you. One of the things that I didn't notice before is that I didn't think about is that the registry is represented with this orange color, and I'm wearing pink. So perhaps I should have thought about that before. So I want to just talk you through the intent for the registry stream. This is really just this particular statement here is about the overall purpose, which hasn't changed very much in terms of what we are, what we're attempting to do, or what we're continuing to do, should I say rather. But it is a very much more succinct statement because we are deliberately trying to ensure that we have the room to evolve as the environment around us are evolving, and as the changes that happen, we embrace those along with our ongoing improvement to our agile processes. So as you will have already noted, and as Paul has already mentioned, the membership pillar is now missing from the pillars that are represented at APNIC. And again, that was a very deliberate action to include the member services in with the product development to basically bring them closer together so that we're all aligned with how we deliver value to our APNIC members and the broader community. So if we go and have a look now at our most important goals, again, those were just referred to earlier. But the most important goals, to give you guys a little bit more idea, are really project-based measurable actions that we want to undertake over the next 4 years that are designed to take up perhaps 20% of the time that's normally allocated to BAU. And the intention is that on the completion of these projects, we will positively impact the BAU so that we will become more efficient and improve some of the outcomes that we're looking at there. So the first one, which is around transforming the registry services to proactive, higher quality services. This is something that's been very much on my mind and in my heart for the last 3 years that I've been at APNIC. As most of you know, I've kind of grown out of the services team, and it's about improving the way that we see our members so that we understand we're integrating all the pieces of information we have to create a single view or a 360-degree view of our members so that we understand how to serve you better. So that's the first most important goal. The second one is developing a framework to support the authenticity and trust in registry data. So this is ongoing. So none of you will be surprised about the fact that this is one of our most important goals, but we are looking to actually improve the way that we do this and to continue to understand how we can become more trusted source for authenticity. So the project that again we referred to earlier in AGM 1, which was the Historical Resource Reclaim project, has gone a long way to helping us understand some of our legacy resource holders and to update that information, which has been very helpful. If you consider we started with about 3,500 cases of members that the data was largely unknown or 30 years old. So that's really made a massive improvement to the accuracy of our data. The third most important goal is to initiate and support the activities of the NRO. So this is something that, again, we are looking for ways to align how we work with the other RIRs. And so this is something that we are working towards coming up with at least a common statement and understanding the work that needs to be done. So moving into some of the actual actions that we're going to be undertaking. So obviously the most important thing that we are tasked with doing is delegating IPv4, IPv6 and ASNs. So that's going to continue to be a very important central piece to what we're doing. And a lot of the other dot points that you see on this slide here relate to that first most important goal about improving how we interact with our members and with the community. The other thing there is facilitating, just from the bottom there, the facilitation of the growth of the PDP. So I would really encourage you to continue to be involved in the policy development process that now also forms part of the registry value stream. And again, the terminology of value stream is really deliberate so that everybody gets to understand that this is us all trying to understand how we deliver value to you more, better or more. And then the last dot point there, update authorization mechanism for who is, that is again aligned with our second MIG, and we are working towards that this year. So the other goals, they're maintaining and developing registry membership and information products. Those of you that didn't make it to the products and services session, there's still a video to watch. I would again encourage you to join into those sessions when we hold them at conferences. This really gives you a really good snapshot of what we have been involved in and what we're about to undertake. So I'd encourage you to come along to the next session and certainly watch the one that was already delivered yesterday, day before yesterday. Higher availability of all APNIC's public online services, 24/7 infrastructure incident response team. That's something that we're wanting to try and finalize this year. We've already started work on that because that is something that we are trying to do to make sure that we maintain those at least 4 nines and moving towards that third dot point. Automation of repetitive work, I think, is something that we're all interested in doing, and obviously improving reporting and development dashboards to drive the insights so that we know exactly where those areas for improvement are. So with that, I'm going to hand on to Chi, who's going to talk about the development value stream.
Hi, my name is Chi Cheng. I'm the Senior Director of Development. Sorry, I should have more in green color, but remember that. Development, so, of course, when we say development, actually it refers to internet development. We help with, making or keeping internet stable and secure. And of course, we are also will help develop and grow the internet in a more sustainable way. One of the important parts of our work is capacity building. And of course, you may think about training and other things, but we also would like to help build a better community, because community can help one another, and then to do knowledge and experience exchange, so that to improve the overall internet operations. And also we have limited money budget, so we would need a foundation to help us to find more funding, and during the process we will need to support them. And in turn, of course, we can get the money to support us to do more in achieving our development goals. Under the development, we also cover the research to provide useful data and information, so that people can have better understanding of how internet operates, and and other fundings and insights. In the coming 4 years, we have identified 2 most important goals. I have to stress that this strategy is an evolution from the past strategic plans. It is not really something very, very new. But for the coming 4 years, we do want to do things smarter. Meaning that since we have limited budget, we cannot do everything all by ourselves. So we need to find a smarter way to do it. And so that's why we have the first most important goal, in short, we'll call it beyond direct delivery. Meaning that we'll do more than just direct delivery. Of course, we'll continue to do direct delivery, but we want to, do something else, so as to, have partners and others to do the training delivery or direct delivery, so that more people can be benefited. So this is, one of the most important goals. We have some initial idea, including like doing more content, train the trainers. But what else can we do? In the coming months, we will lay down a more concrete plan. And the second one is cybersecurity. We have received a lot of feedbacks, to us saying that we should do more security-related work. Of course, there are a lot that we can do, but like with the limited resources, what we can do, we need to lay down the plan. But for sure, this part will cover a lot like training and technical assistance, as well as engagement and support to the community. In the coming year, 2024, we have certain targets. This is a list. As I mentioned, we'll continue to do direct delivery. So that's why, like for instructor-led training, we have a target of like 1,200 hours. Of course, it doesn't mean we'll stop when we have reached 1,200 hours. If we still have resources, and budget, then of course we'll continue to do that. And platform and content would be a most important part for our future. So we would start doing more work on that. And so we have laid down something. And also, we would make use of, the community trainers that we have recruited to leverage them more so that we can do more. And more about like the academy platform, we would like to do modernization so that it can be future-proof. And also like we would launch a like minimum viable product for the certification, which will be in IPv6 to, see like whether it's useful to the community, and if like accepted by the community, we certainly would like to do more. And we continue to support NOCs, research and education networks, certs, peering forums. We'll continue to do technical assistance to our members, and we support IXP development, MRIS deployment, and and also for the security part, we continue to operate the community HoneyNet security threat sharing platform, and we'll continue to do research. That's probably it. Thank you. I'll pass it on to Pablo, who is the Senior Director of Engagement.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here to present engagement as an enabler team. My responsibility is basically to manage the talent of the team and take it to its maximum potential. And the mission for us is to basically enable the engagement capability of the organization, as Paul mentioned. And the face of the team that you will see the most is Sienna Perry. She's the Engagement Operations Director, and she's now responsible for the APNIC conferences. Hence, you will be seeing a lot of her when you come to APNIC. And she is the one as well to keep the team in terms of keeping it on track with its commitments to you, to the community. So I will ask her to present about the objectives that we have in place, thanks to the EC, of course.
Thanks, Pablo. So we may not be wearing blue, but at least we're coordinated. It's a real privilege to stand up here in front of the community, but also to do so representing the brilliant engagement team as the enabler. So we have designed engagement as a function that spreads across the Secretariat, and we have a team that's really supercharged focused on supercharging and supporting diverse participation in the community. At its core, our job is to support community members at all stages of their career journey to fully contribute to their community, and then also to extend genuine invitations to new community members, support and welcome them. Our most important goals, as set by the EC, are here. I won't run through them word by word, but what this means in 4 years' time, at the end of this strategic, the strategic plan period, is we will have more participation because the spaces and the opportunities to participate will be more attractive and more people will know about them. And we will also listen more and respond with action to constructive feedback. There is a lot of detail here in the next 2 slides about the activities that we promise to undertake and what success looks like. I won't run through them all, but I would encourage you all to have a look through. One of the most timely of these activities is in fact the conferences, and our promise to you is to provide conferences that support networking in all the ways you choose to do it. Please do have a look through the activities, but in summary, we're really looking for how we can support, enrich and encourage the human networks that underpin our community. I would put an invitation out to everyone here to contact either Pablo or myself or part of the engagement team if you wanted to share some feedback or to get involved as a leader in our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sienna and Tony.
Thanks, Pablo and Sienna. So, my name's Tony Smith. I'm the Senior Director of Operations at APNIC. The part that I cover is probably not the glamorous part. We look after all of the finance, HR, internal IT, risk management, business intelligence, legal, planning and reporting, governance work. So we look after the work, I guess, that underpins the organization, that allows the value streams and engagement to do what they do out there and serve you as members. So it's so this slide here was showing our purpose won't come as any surprise then after describing that. We are here to make sure that we build a strong culture within APNIC, that we're using the vast amounts of information that we have at our disposal to make better decisions, have a strong organization that's both has high integrity, financial strength, and strong accountability to you, the members. So our most important goals, again, knowing what we do, these probably won't come as much of a surprise when you read them, but I think it's important that they're restated. So we are, our 3 most important goals over the next 4 years in the strategic plan to make sure that we continually managing our resources effectively, and we are keeping our expenditure effectively under control to achieve those financial and activity goals that we've laid out within the plan. We are continuing to strengthen the governance of our organization to keep improving our accountability and reduce risk. And of course, it goes without saying, you need a highly productive workforce in the organization to deliver what we're promising to you in our plans. So under capability, we have 4 work streams, which are the 4 in the little, the dark purple box over there. Under those work streams, there are a number of activities. The actual, the plan will lay out those and all the activity, the work that we're actually going to do in those, and the success indicators that we have promised to achieve underneath them. But as a quick whistle stop tour, the business systems work stream within APNIC looks after all of our internal systems, our internal IT that underpin the Secretariat, and obviously, and all of our, I guess, we sit on a lot of data at APNIC, no surprise, but making sense of that data and making sure that we're using it in the right ways to make better business decisions on what we do as a Secretariat is important. And so we invest a lot in our data analytics, visualizations, and reporting systems to make sure we're using that effectively. We have made, in terms of our financial obligations this year, we have promised to the community that we will continue to make sure that we are very responsible with our expenditure, and we have committed to make sure that we deliver a balanced budget over the longer term. You would have seen the financial presentations earlier today from Maz, and we hope to make sure that we continue to narrow that deficit to start getting it back into ongoing surplus again. Maintaining a pretty safe and a safe, secure, and welcoming work environment is obviously an important part of what we do. And there's a lot of work around that with the new structure Paul just mentioned earlier, and you've obviously seen the four of us up here as the new senior directors leading each of the different pillars of the organization. There's still work to be done. We have restructured the organization around those, but there's still work to be done, and also monitoring to make sure it's working. We're going to keep an eye on it this year to see if we make sure we have the skills in the right place in the organization to make sure that we're continuing to deliver what we need to do. And as part of that, we want to make sure we continue to meet those global benchmarks for our employee engagement, diversity, culture, and role satisfaction. They're the big ones that we like to hit on. APNIC is a very diverse organization. We have people from all around the world working for us to mirror the community that we serve, which is incredibly diverse. But we want to make sure that we have happy staff who are productive and hitting the goals that we've set out. Governance is also incredibly important to us at APNIC. We are a transparent organization, but we know we can improve, and we like to improve. We have a culture within APNIC of continuous improvement. So it's important that we continue to deliver all of our reporting to you guys on time. That includes not only the annual reports and the plans which have been released ahead of this meeting, but also things like making sure that the EC minutes are published on time so you can see the workings of what's going on in those discussions. And we like to make sure that everything we do is as transparent as possible. Implementing the APNIC bylaw reforms, we've seen some of that already this meeting with the electoral committee. We just need to make sure that those reforms are working, and if there's any tweaks we can make, anything we can learn from this meeting to make sure for future EC elections we continue to improve. Finally, mitigating risk is part of what we do in capability as well. We would like to improve the way we manage those risks internally in terms of monitoring those risks, assessing them, and managing them. So we're going to be investing in that this year. But we also have 2 ISO certifications that APNIC maintains. The first is ISO 9001, which is about quality management systems. So this is about how we run the business, the processes of running the business. And we've been certified with ISO 9001 for many years now. And maintaining that accreditation is very important to us. And we want to make sure that we continue to meet the independent audits and pass those audits to show that we are a very well-run organization. The second one, which was on the slide just previously before, is ISO 27001, and that's around our internal security. And that is also obviously incredibly important for what we do. APNIC is the holder of a large amount of data and plays an important role in the operation of the internet. And so we need to make sure our security is up to scratch as well. So those 2 things are incredibly important to us. And we work very hard to make sure we are passing our annual audits on those. So that's a very whistle-stop tour of what we do. There's a lot more. And I would probably now like to hand back to Kenny, who can take it from here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. So next one, it's my pleasure to give in the APNIC EC report. Okay, Kenny Huang again, Chair of APNIC Executive Council, and it's my pleasure to give the APNIC Executive Council report. Okay, starting from the first page, that's a whole group of EC members here. We are also sitting here. Myself, Kenny Huang, Executive Council member, also Chair of the APNIC EC. I'd like to each EC member try to introduce by yourself, starting from the one sit far from me. Suman, can you start from you?
Hi, I'm Shuman Sabir from Bangladesh. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anley, come from APNIC. Thank you.
Hello, this is Camps, one of the EC member.
This is Achi coming from Manila, currently the secretary.
I am Rupinder Parhar from Internet Service Providers Association of India.
Yoshinobu Matsuzaki from Japan, treasurer.
And I'm Paul, and as the Director General hired by the EC, I'm also a voting member of the EC.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We have all introduction by all EC member. Go to the next one. The function of APNIC EC. The function of APNIC EC is try to represent the interests of member in the governance of APNIC. and also oversight the APNIC activity, and also consider broad internet policy issue for APNIC strategic direction. For example, like we identify strategic plan for every 4 years, and also set a membership fee. Probably a lot of people already gave a recommendation. How can we define the membership fee? And also endorse the policy consensus toward implementation that we're going to have an exercise later on. For APNIC EC meeting, APNIC EC meeting usually run 4 times per year. We have 7 EC meetings held since APNIC 55 AGM. Current EC meeting already finished on the 26th of February and 1st of March 2024. We just finished. And also, next EC meeting will be Kuala Lumpur starting from 3rd and 4th of June. That will be held in conjunction with the APNIC. A joint board meeting with RIGHT NCC Executive Board was held on 25th of November 2023 in Rome. A joint board member meeting with APNIC Foundation Board was held on 26th of February this year. Our quarterly meeting of the elected community leader was held on 28th of February. That's just happened. So meeting minutes and record you can find from apnic.net/EC. You can find out all the meeting minutes. So we also record all the EC meeting attendance. You can see how we participate in the EC meeting by everyone since last time. Okay, as I mentioned, we identify APNIC strategic plan. Right now, just come to our strategic cycle from 2024 to 2027. So every 4 years, APNIC and Secretary are working on develop new strategic direction to guide APNIC activity. So EC endorsed the new APNIC strategic plan for 2024 up to 2027. So all APNIC activity for the next 4 years are grouped under 4 strategic pillars. Paul already introduced in the activity plan. The 2024 activity plan and budget describe activity according to the same structure. So everything will be in line with the activity direction. Just quickly identify, we already mentioned we have 4 pillars: registry development, engagement, and capability. So that's most important. Every 2 years, we conduct APNIC survey to get a feedback by the member. So APNIC EC commission to APNIC survey is independent and anonymous and get a feedback from member of the community about APNIC performance, priority, and future activity. Actually, I saw a lot of discussion through our mailing list. If you look at the APNIC survey, actually, you can find out a lot of discussion already covered inside the APNIC survey. You can have a look. An interview and focus group was held in this week in Africa. So probably many of you already accepted the interview and also discussed with the interviewer. And also, survey report will be presented to the member at the APNIC 58 in Wellington, New Zealand. Okay, APNIC policy endorsement. APNIC EC review and resolve to endorse 4 policy proposals that reached consensus in 2023. Proposal 147, Proposal 150, and Proposal 151, Proposal 155. So, and thank you for your active participation in all policy discussion. We still have another 2 proposals going to be discussed to see whether we reach consensus or not. And Proposal 155 and Proposal 155 actually in last November, APNIC EC endorsed Prop 155. Announced the fee for /38 IPv6 portable PI assignment will be waived for 12 months for dedication. So after 12 months, the resource will become chargeable. But after we got a input by the community, also consultation among different stakeholders, we consider to waive the 12 months requirement. So we remove the time limit for the fee waiver. So like /48 IPv6 PI assignment will become classed as a non-chargeable resources. So that's the latest update for the Proposal 155. Finance, you already go through the financial treasury report by months. So just giving a simple update. Overall membership growth about the budget assumption until end of December 2023, APNIC had 9,944 members in 53 economies. 2023 operating deficit is Australian dollar 590,000 versus budget deficit will be 1.1 million Australian dollars. So approval of 2023 audit financial report statement is an unqualified audit opinion. That means very successful audit. Approval of activity plan and budget for 2024. So a commitment to restrain year-to-year expense grows to 4% or even less. The electoral committee, the EC established an electoral committee to oversee nominee eligibility and conduct in the EC election. Particular thank you for the electoral committee this year. The members have been appointed are Donna, Arinta, and Akinori, Keiko, and Aftes. Thank you for your continued contribution to make a APNIC 2024 EC election successful. So we also have NR, NC, and ASO-AC APNIC representative to the NR, NC, ASO-AC in 2024 are Dima, elected by community, and Garrod, also elected by APNIC community, and Nicole Jan, appointed by the EC. And again, thank you for your contribution to the community. And also we have INA RC Review Committee, APNIC representative to the INA RC in 2024 are Gu Jinheng, elected by APNIC community, and they'll be appointed by the APNIC EC, and Vivek is APNIC staff. Again, thank you for your contribution. APNIC conference, and thank you everyone who have been helped APNIC 57, a very successful event, and APNIC 58, that will be in September this year, will be held in Wellington, New Zealand. Africa 2025 and APNIC 59, that will be February next year, will be held in Dhaka, Bangladesh. APNIC 60, that will be assumed will be in September 2025, will be held in Dongnan, Vietnam. So you can start to prepare your trip for the next year. And member feedback are extremely important, as I mentioned, especially for when you while you are here, we have conducting the member survey. And in addition to member survey, actually, we still have several channels. You can, if you have anything want to discuss, want to have a well consideration by the EC, here is the channel you can use. EC submission via My APNIC and contact phone on the APNIC website. And also, you can raise the question as you can stand up in the open mic to raise the question. Everything will be recorded. So during the APNIC conference. So that's the place. Although APNIC is an operation under is bounded by APNIC bylaw, and also we have very strict policy development process. If you anything want to improve, and still you can go through that kind of channel and make your wish. I don't guarantee the wish will come true, but I guarantee all the inquiry, all the requirement, we go through a due process. Make sure we have evaluation process and we have validation process in place. Make sure the demand is truly needed. Okay, you can have a look at apnic.net/EC. So you can see the picture, the old EC standing, probably behind look like a execution ground or something. Don't know. But anyway, with a silly smile. Thank you. That's my report. Thank you very much. So here would be the open mic section. Please stand in front of the mic, say your name and your affiliation. We are all here to listen. Yes, go on.
Hi, George from APNIC. Just a comment from Gaurav Kansal, who's a remote participant. He said, thanks and appreciate APNIC EC for waiving of the fees for /48 IPv6 block. That's it.
Okay, right. Thank you. And also thank you for the feedback by the member, especially after.
Hi, I'm Shanas from Bangladesh, Information Security Professional. I like to thank APNIC for providing various kinds of training workshops. So my question is, does APNIC has any possibility to conduct any training that is like this training will be the ethically develop the people to reduce the cyber attack. Like now in the globally, what is happening? It is happening that someone is attacking and someone is defending. And we are providing the training in defending network monitoring, system monitoring, or defend the network or defend the system. And the security awareness, we are providing the training to secure awareness to the employee, like the phishing email, spam email, to protect this kind of. But any psychologically, like the reverse criminal psychologically, from the very root side, from the academia, to stop or to reduce the cyber attack. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chiu, do you want to feedback? Thank you very much. We try our best with a very limited budget to do that. Thank you very much.
This is Chihu, APNIC Secretary. Thank you for your inputs. In fact, as I mentioned, one of our most important goals is to address cybersecurity. And cybersecurity would cover training and technical assistance. And we certainly will look at what we are missing and what's needed by the community, like cyber attack or whatever related like attacks. We would enhance our training content to cover that. And of course, as I mentioned, the training content would not be just for ourselves to do the delivery. It will be available to the community to do their own training. Thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you. After you first, okay, sorry, you first.
Matthew from LeapTel. This is probably impossible ask, but with the dating scheduling for conferences, is it possible to try and avoid NOGs? Like the upcoming Apricot 58 clashes with OzNOG, which is going to take a lot of Australian network operators away, which is kind of frustrating. But I expect it's very challenging with the international schedule.
Okay, right. Is Tony, would you like to feedback?
Thanks. And so I'll respond from my former role when I looked after conferences and this happened. It was a very unfortunate, what is a very unfortunate overlap. We do try to avoid the NOGs, particularly OzNOG, which has traditionally been very close to our September meeting. Unfortunately, this time there was a miscommunication between our two organizations. We have reached out to OzNOG and we're discussing that, and we're hoping to find a way that we make sure that we don't have these overlaps in future. But we're aware that they book their venues well in advance, and it can be sometimes tricky for us when we move around the region to get those dates. But you're right, it is something which is unfortunate, and we do try to miss it. Unfortunately, we land on the same dates this time. Thanks.
Okay, apologize again for it's very difficult to making that kind of arrangement. I think everyone is trying hard to accommodate, make it happen. Thank you very much. And after, thank you.
Aftab Siddiqui for Aftab Siddiqui. I have a couple of, number one, I would like to highlight the one thing is, thank you so much to EC for listening to the members. I still remember when I received the first EC notification that it is for 1 year regarding the Prop 155 I'm talking about. I did send an email with, of course, some asking for more details, but I would give full credit to the EC member. Of course, I did not like this decision. Many members did not like that decision. But what EC did was really remarkable. A lot of, at least I have to point out Maz, Rupinder Saab and Suman Bhai, they reached out to many members individually, discussed it in detail, what they were asking, what are the consequences, what financial hit APNIC has to take. And it was a long discussion, and then they took everything back to the APNIC EC meeting and resolved it. So I would say it is really remarkable. And I thank APNIC EC for that decision, plus the whole process. It's not just the decision, the transparency of the whole process was something I really like. So thank you once again, and thanks to the chair.
Okay, thank you, After, especially for your contribution to submit a proposal. Okay.
Yeah, now the question. Yeah, sorry. Now the question is related to the engagement. I would really like to understand a couple of points. One is that the APNIC is taking joint initiatives with organizations, including NRO, ICANN, IETF. What are those joint initiatives? I understand that ITF Brisbane is happening and APNIC is providing the local host services, but what are the other joint initiative which is going to help APNIC members and the APNIC community? That is one. Another point which I saw is, which is kind of Greek to me, is achieving 350 engagements plus 1,000 unique contact touch points. If somebody can provide the details that what does it mean, how it affects or impact the APNIC members and the APNIC community, and how does it translates into something meaningful? I mean, I understand, of course, there's there will be some something behind these things, but I need to understand, and I think it will help the APNIC community understand further.
Okay, thank you for your question. I'd like to have Pablo to respond to the question. Thank you.
Thank you as always. The joint initiatives of NRO, ICANN, and the RIRs, I think we should agree that now more than ever, coordination and cooperation are most important. We used to have during the IANA transition a strong channel via this thing called the iStart, which actually is described in our website and defined as such. But those collaboration and cooperations are changing, and actually what is very interesting as well is that as our organizations grow and our strategic plans are being set, different organizations are taking different directions, and when and how we can organize all together to keep those coordination channels together. So those are the initiatives. With regards to the touch points, probably it is a measure that is very much on an internal side to actually try to increase engagement as much as possible. So we record touch points with the community in order for us internally be coordinated about that. So those are very critical for us in terms of measuring that we are really engaging proactively with the community. And perhaps we can explain more how we do that in our reporting moving forward. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Pablo. Does that answer your question?
Aftab Siddiqui. Yes, it does. I would say just in the EC report, I would encourage things which are easy to understand for the membership, that do not use the internal mechanism, that how you measure things rather than how the community measures success in that sense. So that would be much better rather than, yeah, I totally get it. This is the, at this point, coordination is the most important bit. But it has to be how it translates into real value to the members and the community. I understand what APNIC is doing and other RIA is doing. This is very crucial, but it just has to be portrayed in the right manner. That's it.
Thank you. I think that's a very good recommendation. And we would definitely need to revise that kind of any material, any message we deliver to the community as well. Okay, sorry, Pablo.
We have been thinking a lot about how to measure success on engagement, and it's very hard. Please tell us how you measure our success in engagement. We have indeed certain measures that we try hard to keep track, but if you have any ideas, by all means, we welcome that very much.
I'll just mention too, I mean, this is not just an activity measure for the sake of it. I think if we were just writing check marks on a page, there'd actually be thousands of kind of touch points, if you like. But a touch point record in APNIC is a structured record, which says, for instance, that a particular APNIC staff met with Aftab Siddiqui at a particular event, and here's a couple of notes about, or extensive notes even about what was done. So we kind of can look back at activities related to events, related to staff, related to community members, and what happened. It's actually very useful to be able to see what's been discussed by who, when. So it's a structured process, and the touch point is a meaningful piece of data that's kept in our CRM.
Okay, thank you. We don't have too much time. Any last question from the floor? Okay, right. Thank you. Now I move to the SIG report. The first SIG report will be Corporation SIG presented by Joyce.
Thank you, Chair. This is a report that we have done on our special interest group for the cooperation. My name is Joy Chen with my co-chair, Bikram, here in the room as well. So the charter for our cooperation SIG is really a broader concept about anything that's related to internet, especially internet development, the policies, and the governance. And we are welcome to all the inputs and the contribution to our community. So the key highlight for this time that we had happened on Tuesday is really building on the focus for the capacity building. So we want to know that the need for the skilled workforce in the Asia Pacific region, how can we do to drive the sustainable internet development? So we had a good discussion. They are sharing on the how do you measure I'm sorry, let me go back to the first point. It's the sharing for the key elements for the success for the collaboration, for the PPP, the public-private, the partnership. We have discussed about how government and intergovernment agencies can play in the fostering a conducive environment for skill development. And also it's an open dialogue on measurement, the outcome. Capacity building is something that everybody's doing, but how do we measure the outcome so that we can continue building on top of that? The outcome is that, number one, the cooperation between the public-private sectors is important. It's very encouraged. The emerging technology is shaping the landscape of the skill development, and the capacity building can happen in cross-domain, cross-industry, and cross-culture, and it's a continual effort. And after this session, I also want to encourage all of you to participate with our dialogue in the forum, and we can continue building up on the cooperation. Thank you. That's my report.
Okay, thank you, Joy. And the next one will be NIR SIG report presented.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm from APNIC and also NIRCCS. I'm very happy to report with you about the NIR-SIG in this meeting. Yes, as you know, the start of NIR-SIG is to share information relating to the operations, policy, and process of national internet strategy, which aim to promoting close cooperation both among NIRs and with APNIC Secretariat. And about the presentation, the key highlight for each presentation from Taiwan, Team Wang have the great update for the delegation and the members increased last year. And they got more than 300 members, and also almost finished the validation process for a build contact. And they had 2 OPMs per year, 5 workshops, and almost many activities for both IPv6 deployment in Taiwan. They got nearly 60% of IPv6 adoption rate. And one of the best active from Taiwan I saw in the presentation that they got a great number of APK deployment. Also from the APNIC, Koki-san also update with us about what happened in Japan, and they got more than 500 members, and also many active with the technical event and supporting Sanok meeting. It's a very large event in Sanok 53, more than 3,000 attendees. And they also support their member in OPM meeting and also deploy APKIs as well. From APNIC, yes, from APNIC, APNIC had more than nearly 1,000 members, and also they have a lot of activity for training and meeting like APNIC Internet Conference, APNIC NOC, OPM, IPv6 meeting, and a lot of activity for working with the cooperation parties. And they also get a great number for IPv6 and API deployments. And from CNIC, they then update what happened in in China for a greater number of members, 1,399 members, and also they had 2 workshops last year with the great number for the IPv6 user, and also IPv6 for cloud service, DNS, and major website of from government and media. From APNIC, yeah, I present a lot of activity and products from India. They got a great number of members, more than 4,000 members, and also a great increase last year, more than 600 new members. And so the IAPK in India, they got 80%, and also a great product in India, like APK drop-in value check, in APNIC, yeah, RBL, and many activity for members for some new feature like NR API, RDNS within my APNIC. From NIC, from NIC they had a great number like IDNIC, they have more than 4,400 members, and also they had OPM meeting, IPv6 promotion activity, and they got one of the best result for IPv6. They got 80% IPv6 adoption rate. They rank in the first in the world, and also a few ISV deploying IPv6 only, and the APK is one of the important activity in India. And the last presentation is the interesting content we discussed in the NAR6 forum. From Taiwan, Xinjiang Harvard to share their case study for the IP policy. And from Taiwan, they have some steps to release the new policy. They research a new policy from APNIC announcement, and also they compare the current policy among Taiwanese APNIC and other NARs. And also they release a tentative new policy and discuss with Taiwan members, and also the officially update the new P. As an outcome and action after the SIG, I believe that all NARs focused on IPv6 and API deployments last year, and also they got better products for NAR communities and many cooperation among NAR last year. And of course, every NAR got a great support from APNIC and APNIC EC last year, and also we look forward to have more support from APNIC EC in the future. And also, I would like to have a better support from APNIC and APNIC EC, especially for new policy affecting much to NARs and NAR members. As you know, NAR had for more than 40,000 sub-account members. So some policy from APNIC EC can affect NAR a lot. I think it's must in member APNIC. So we look forward to have a more consultant meeting with APNIC EC if have any new policy affecting much for us. That's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your NIR report. So because we have some minor change for our agenda, so one of the presentation will be moved to the AGM 3. So before we conclude the section, I'd like to remind you, APNIC EC election will be closed at 2:30. If you haven't voted, please vote it before the 2:30. Just a reminder for all of you, and that's the last chance to make a voting for your EC candidate. So with that, I'd like to conclude our section 2 for the AGM section 2, and so we can have a lunch break and then come back at 2:30. So the meeting is officially concluded here. Thank you very much. Adieu.